Welcome to Slasher Sunday. So what we're going to do is we're first going to start with giving a shout out to Cupcake Chaos for becoming a patron at the First to Die level. So thank you. I sent you a private message on Patreon thanking you. So thank you. There's your shout out. I really appreciate the donation. I've gotten a few new patrons this week since I did my Patreon video. Shit, I'm going to do one of those every day. No, I really appreciate him or her. Cupcake Chaos. Oh, that's a chick. I think I saw the name. Yeah, it's a girl. But whatever. Anyway, this is a Patreon request for T-Rex Terry Ashton, who I asked, what did you want me to watch? And he said, Pumpkinhead. I've already done all four. He picked something else. I'd already done that. So he settled on Popcorn. Now, Popcorn is a movie I currently own on VHS, not DVD or Blu-ray or anything, and it is in storage, so I had to watch this on YouTube. Yikes, it was horrible quality. Movie I saw years ago and remember some of, but not a ton. But man, as generic as this film can be, it does have a lot of charm, and I definitely understand the cult status of it. You know, there's a lot of people who adore this movie. I actually used to know a girl who this was like her favorite fucking movie. This was her favorite horror movie, and she was a hardcore horror fan. So there are people out there that really love this film, and I could see it. It's a fun film. Things that it's lacking, it's a slasher movie, so it's lacking the two most important things: tits and gore. There's none of either, really. And that's a huge downside of this movie. So if you're going to make a slasher movie, tits and gore, you know? But this is 1991. I don't know. I mean, the MPAA was fucking raping movies. This is like right after Friday the 13th kind of ended, maybe 3 years after with Manhattan, and they were just slashing films right and left. If you look at films in the 90s, like the early 90s, I can't think of any that are super gory or super graphic off the top of my head. So this was at a time where films were being cut to what would now pretty much be PG-13. I don't see why this wouldn't be PG-13 if made today, because it's pretty tame. But it does have its charm, which elevates it. But if it had the charm and the gore and the tits aren't absolutely necessary. But, you know, for a pervert like me, I'm not going to fucking, be upset with them. But gore is more important all day. And it's just a shame because this movie could have been elevated from that. It's a slasher movie. Okay? I keep harping on this, but slasher movies, there's some things that are integral to them for them to be like top tier stuff, and gore is like numero uno for me. All right. So we got a lot of people in this movie that I recognize here. We got Stephanie from freaking The Stepfather, but she was also in Cutting Class and When a Stranger Calls Back and the Phantom of the Opera movie, the Robert Englund one. So it's cool to see her here. I had read that somebody else was cast in her part and had filmed like a good portion of the movie, so she was cast in her place, like a freaking Back to the Future Eric Stoltz kind of situation, and they had to bring her in so she like didn't interact with her castmates at almost, much at all, because she did most of her stuff by herself, and they would just kind of insert it as she was talking to these people. Weird stuff. That would be very hard and challenging for someone. But she's a pretty seasoned horror actor. I was pretty surprised looking through her credits. I recognized her immediately from Stepfather, but then I was like, oh yeah, that's the chick from Cutting Class too. She was the star of that, and she's the star of When a Stranger Calls Back, and she's the star of this. So this is a legit scream queen. This girl, her name's Maggie in this. I'm blanking on the actress's name, but I would put her in a Scream Queens list. She's done enough. She definitely deserves it for sure. Okay, we also, fucking speaking of Scream Queens, we have one of the, freaking prolific ones of all time, Dee Wallace in here. Doesn't get a lot of screen time, unfortunately. doesn't have a lot to do in the movie. The script for this does seem sloppy and rushed, but Dee Wallace is in here, and that's cool. Also, we've got fucking Denise from Summer School, okay? She's been in other things. I'm well aware. A Nightmare on Elm Street film. I don't care about any of that other shit, okay? She's been in some cool flicks. Don't get me wrong. Summer School. We took driver's training with Denise. Call us a cab. What is this, a sick, twisted joke? Oh my God. Guys, as much as I love horror, I know I say this all the time, but like 80s teen comedies, especially like, you know, those second tier ones, like, because a lot of people are like Breakfast Club and freaking, you know, all these obvious titles. But for me, and Summer School, I guess, is probably a little higher level. I'm talking more like just one of the guys, Heavenly Kid, Heaven Help Us, which there is a Heaven Help Us character in this, Caesar from Heaven Help Us. I know everyone knows him as, from Christine. Fucking, what's his damn name in that? Starts with a G, right? Doesn't matter, but I'll think of it as we're going. But yeah, it's funny that it's here. But yeah, Summer School, one of my top like 5 favorite comedies of all time. I've seen it a trillion times. Mr. Shoop, Chainsaw Dave, iconic characters right and left, and Denise is a big part of that. And seeing her here, don't care what else she's ever been in, fucking yes, Summer School all day. So seeing her is so cool. So we got kind of a William Castle throwback here with all the, you know, Stenchovision and freaking Shockorama and all, you know, those gimmicks that he had going on back in the day, trying to get people in the theaters for all his movies. And they cover a movie called Mosquito, which is not the Mosquito with Gunnar Hansen that I love. But all these movies were made for this movie, right? I mean, none of these are real movies, I don't think. Or maybe they are. Maybe these are all real movies. I don't know. Let me know. I don't think they are, but I could be wrong on that. I've never seen any of these movies if they are. A horror-thon. I've never been to a horror-thon, but I'd love to host one. I'd love to put one on. Just the idea of showing like a bunch of horror movies back to back and like getting in a crowded theater with a bunch of horror geeks and just geeking out over like, you know, lesser known horror classics. Oh, like greatest night of my life. So maybe one day when the channel grows big enough, if it ever happens, I'll be able to host it like Sinister Cinema Reviews, freaking, you know, hosts some horror-thon, and I'll pick some badass movies, and, you know, we can all meet up, everyone, freaking T-Rex Ashton and Cupcake Chaos and every other motherfucker that supports my channel and wants to come on down. But the world's too big sometimes, you know? Like, I wish we could just the horror fans, just get us all together. Because those are the kinds of people I want to be around. Oh, the teacher in this movie is the dad from Amityville 3. As soon as I saw him, I was like, I know this fucking guy. I know this guy. And I was looking at him like, Amityville. I never really include Amityville when I always do my run-through of 3D movies, like Jaws, you know, Friday the 13th. I go through the list, and I don't feel like I include Amityville as much, but it's because it is terrible. That little pool under the house, the little demon comes out. Oh, terrible movie. But as soon as I saw him, I was like, I know him. I knew you. Planes, trains, and automobiles, people. All right. Where the hell? All right. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, as usual. So Maggie's boyfriend tries to get with her, and she's like, I'm focusing on my movie, and our generation's supposed to be about safe sex, and there's nothing safe about sex with you, which she wouldn't know unless she's had sex with him. So has she been giving it up to him? I don't know. But he then goes off and he jumps on to the next best thing, much like freaking Brady in Halloween 4. I was thinking of Sasha, like his real name, and then I was thinking of his name in Dazed and Confused. And I was dazed and confused right there trying to come up with his damn name. It's been too long since I watched Halloween 4. I love that movie. But yeah, he just jumps on the next best thing, shows up at the thing he knew she would be at. I mean, there's no way. He's just trying to make her jealous. I mean, it's his girlfriend. She's a film major, and this is put on by the film school. He didn't know that she was doing this. Stupid. They have an 80s montage of them getting the thing together, this is in the 90s, okay? You got to evolve past the 80s montage here. I thought fucking Rocky was going to be in the background training, but I love that when freaking, what's his name? Rick, I think. Yeah, her boyfriend's name. He gets up to like go and talk to Maggie. This freaking big dude comes and just sits right next to his girlfriend. That guy has got some balls to just get up and sit right next to a dude's date. And it works kind of for him. And I feel like that would work 1 out of like a billion times. It's just hilarious that he does it and it actually works. But then later in the movie, he's trying to feel up on her after he's already told her boyfriend to fuck off and punched him in the face. And punched him in the face. And she was like, sorry, you took too long and blah, blah, blah. And he's just sitting there and he gets knocked out by this guy, which everyone like cheers him on. If you punched a dude in a crowded theater, I don't know how 1991, well, I do know how 91 was. I was around. I was only 9 years old, but nowadays, Jesus, you even stick up for somebody. If you even get in the middle of something, you're an asshole these days. Like, you can't do nothing out in public now without fucking people criticizing the shit out of you. I've stood up for people in movie theaters before, like kids getting yelled at by people, and I fucking told the guy to shut the fuck up, and people are like, oh, you shouldn't have escalated it. Should have just, he would have just shut up. He would have went away on his own. Now you're just escalating things. Shut the fuck up, you pussy. Anyway, but yeah, comes in, knocks this guy out, and I was like, wow, this guy's a dick. And then later, she comes to him after the guy's trying to feel her up, and she's like, oh, dick. And it's like, what do you think this guy wanted from you? To fucking be pen pals? Like, I don't understand what you thought was going to happen there. Not that your body isn't yours and you don't have the choice, but when you let a dude knock out your boyfriend or your date for the night and he's got his arm around you and he came on that aggressively, what do you think's the next move here? He's gonna fucking go out and buy you flowers and call you later, and this guy, especially this guy, come on. She's trying to make him jealous, but then pushing him. I don't know, stupid scene. There's so many stupid scenes in this movie. But then, yeah, she comes out and she demands to be taken home by him. And he's like, and they have like a normal conversation. I'd be like, that guy knocked me out. What the fuck are you talking about? And then that guy comes out and he has the nose thing on and he's talking like this, and it's for comedic purposes. I know this is supposed to be a horror comedy, and I guess there is some comedy in it, but I feel like it's much more on the horror side than it is comedy, although it is fairly silly at times. I don't feel like a lot of the silliness is intentional, but I could just be wrong about that. Got hairspray right here because I was doing someone's hair out here in the garage earlier. That's funny. And what is this? Oh, God, I really want to put on a horror-thon. I have that written down like a couple times. And so the teacher is killed by a mosquito. I guess he was just sitting right there on the track and the thing turned around and the guy needed a remote control to take control of it from the other guy's remote. I guess he had like a super powered one with like fucking extra strength batteries in it, and it took it over, and the guy was just sitting straight there, and there was something sharp enough on the edge of it that he impaled him with it. And then, I guess, he took the body of the guy off the mosquito, then turned the thing back around, put it back up so that it could go down and hit the theater. I don't understand how the track for the mosquito kills the guy off stage. I guess they up the curtain, or they up the screen, and then it comes back around. But I don't know. That's weird, because the mosquito comes out from the right side, and it kills the teacher back here, and then it kills the killer on the stage in the center of the stage, and the mosquito has been completely cleaned off and the body has been taken away and it's been reset to come down and kill him. So he sealed his own fate with that shit. I guess he also switched the track around. I'd have to see where the guy was standing, the teaser was standing, and where the killer was standing for that to hit him. That whole scene is hilarious to me because we'll get to there, but I just thought that scene was fucking funny, man. I laughed out loud at that. I like how Maggie leaves the ticket booth and then she comes back after an entire movie has played and the second movie is like halfway in and there's a girl there selling tickets still and is angry because she's like, oh, I had to do your job, I had to cover your job. Oh my God, there's people here. People are still buying tickets halfway through and the theater is completely full. You can see like every single seat's taken, but this girl's still up there a movie and a half in selling tickets like crazy. To who? Where are they sitting? On the fucking ceiling with binoculars and they just like tore a hole in the ceiling? Where the fuck are these people sitting? There's no seats open. And Moochie finally came to me. Jesus. All right. Been trying to think of that this whole damn time. The masks that the killer makes actually look like masks, and when he has them on, like, okay, the first mask he makes of the teacher, it's all like ripped around the neck and it doesn't look right and it's on. That was cool. Now later his masks are much more realistic face-like stuff, but it was cool to see that his mask wasn't exactly right, because in these movies it's always like they pull the mask off. It's like Mission Impossible where it's like a perfect replica, and he even has the thing to change his voice. So this guy's been really watching a lot of Mission Impossible and being able to figure out how to do something that is literally impossible. They even tried to do this shit on Mythbusters, and their like casts of each other that they put over their faces did not look realistic at all. It wouldn't fucking fool nobody. It did fool them in the episode, but when you look at them, these people weren't paying attention. When you do look at them, it's like that's not even close. But I did like how his ears would flap around. The killer in this is the best part of the movie. Just so unique. The look of him when he's got no mask on, the look when he has the mask on, his ears are flapping back and forth as he's talking and he's moving his head. Stellar. Awesome shit, man. Super, super cool. Just wish the kills were cooler. And I wish his motives were stronger. The motives for the killer in this movie are thin as fuck. I'm just like, why does he want to do this? Like, I get it, but that's it? That's the whole thing? Okay, why is he so obsessed with, like, okay, she burned him, but, like, that's not her fault. Like, it's just stupid. It's such a stupid motive when I was watching this. I was like, that's it? Really? Wow. Probably my favorite sequence in the movie, just like a really quick scene, is when Tina has been killed and Maggie and Rick come around the corner and are trying to talk to her to figure out where somebody is. And they come around the corner and Tina is being puppeted from behind by him. And the way she's moving her head and her mouth isn't moving, but the talking's coming out. Creepy ass shit. Probably the scariest actual like horror type element in the entire movie. We've seen that in other movies. I really like the one in Strangeland, when Robert Englund's like on the chair and he's like, yeah, and he's like rocking and his girlfriend's dancing and he's like, yeah, get it. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That'd be a fun slasher Sunday. But yeah, I just thought that was super creepy. And the freaking Moochie from Christine here, Bud in this movie, he gets electrocuted. It takes so fucking long. It is such a long buildup. I mean, if you were him, that would be tense as fuck, but it was going for so long. It's like, can we shock this guy to death already? But he was in a wheelchair, so that immediately made me think of Mark from Friday the 13th Part 2. Killing dudes in wheelchairs in movies ain't cool, but it's pretty fucking hilarious. So this movie was filmed in Jamaica, hence all the reggae bands, reggae music in the movie. But so the power goes out and they just have a band standing by to play at some time. I guess they were going to play after the second movie, but because they played in between the power power outage than all they were there for, but there was just a reggae band sitting in the back waiting to be summoned at any moment, and when the power is out is when they come out to play their instruments and plug them into what? I mean, I guess they went acoustic with everything since there's no fucking power, but the music that they were playing sounded like it was amplified by something, so battery-powered amplifiers they carried with them, and they were just back there, as I said, just like twiddling their thumbs like, I hope the power goes out so we can use our battery-powered fucking convenient amplifiers that we have. Just so silly. I was just like, and here comes the band. Like, they'll keep you busy. And I already said all that shit. What? Oh, yeah. I already said all this stuff. Oh, I'm so all over the place. I don't even know where the fuck anything goes anymore. And him killing her in front of the crowd. I always see this in movies where I'm like, you know, and this has happened. I can't remember what it was, but people think it's part of the show. They're watching a murder. I remember it happened at Dimebag Darrell when he was getting shot on stage. People thought it was part of the show for a second. And that's why, I think that's why haunted houses, going to those like, those haunts, those scary fucking haunts that they put out, houses October build style, are scary, is because you get in your head and think, what if some lunatic's in here and he's coming at me with a fucking chainsaw or machete or whatever, and I'm not going to defend myself because I think it's all part of the show, and so I don't do anything, and he kills me. And then that gets in your head, and so you start to think like, well, I can't let that happen, but then you start going, well, I don't want to be embarrassed when I fucking start screaming and running from a guy, and I can't touch him to fucking punch him just in case it's not, which he 99.9% sure isn't. But that's why it gets in your head. I still just stand there and I'm like, I would rather die than be embarrassed by being scared. That's how I feel in that moment. And okay, so the guy takes a belt, Indiana Jones or George of the Jungle, as he quotes, and slides down, and he's about to go, like, here's the stage, and the guy's bringing down the knife to kill his girlfriend, and he just keeps sliding right past everything, like, knocks off the railing, which is like maybe a counterweight or a brake for the mosquito. I don't know what the fuck it was, but he knocked it off. Mosquito thing comes down, impales the guy. He's swinging back and forth, which I thought was kind of cool. But then he freaking he just, like, what was his thought process there? Why the fuck didn't he let go? I don't get that. Like, it's hilarious to me. He makes a quote of it later, or like, addresses it later. He's like, some fucking hero I was, some lame ass hero I was, or whatever. Hilarious, because I was just like, no, you're not gonna let go? Really? Like, wow. Why would you not let go to drop onto the stage? Like, just keep going right into the boxes? And he's down for so long. By the time he comes out, the mosquito has already impaled the guy and swung like back and forth like twice. So a good maybe 8 to 10 seconds has passed. He got knocked down by some boxes. Should have jumped right up and been on that guy because he was supposed to be saving his girlfriend, but no. And this is a guy, let's get this fucking straight. This is a guy who tried to fuck his girlfriend. She wouldn't give it up because she was very busy with school. And as I said, they must have already had sex. So she had been giving it up to him, from what I can surmise. Maybe not. But then he brings a date to her fucking, her event. Tries to get her back after he goes and talks to her. Can't. Gets his ass knocked out. Then comes back to her yet again. And he ends up getting the girl at the end of the movie. And she's like, hold me. And I'm like, this guy sucks. He sucks as a hero. He sucks as a boyfriend. He's good as a punching bag. That's about it. Yeah, oh man, how lame. Killer's Face. I already kind of talked about all that stuff, but yeah, fun movie. I think I said everything. I don't know. Whatever. Took some notes. I jumble all over the place. Good pick, Terry T Rex. Thank you to everybody. As you said, I mean, you want to make me watch something for Slasher Sunday, Monster Monday, Top 10, whatever, go on over to patreon.com. It's in the description below. Only $1 a month will get you a shout out and so on. There's tier levels and everything. This is, keeps the channel afloat. It keeps the channel going. So anybody who donates anything, thank you so much. And to the person who said I was going to give you $50, because at the killer level you get to pick an entire series for me to do, which only one person has done, and they got a lot of bang for their buck, let me tell you, because they asked for the Evil Dead franchise, and I did all 4 movies and all 3 seasons of the damn television show. But they were like, oh, I'm going to make you do the Amityville movies. And I was like, oh, you motherfucker. But I mean, if you went in at that, I would be forced to. There's like fucking 19 of them, so holy shit, man, that would be miserable. But it'd probably be hilarious because people love when I hate movies for some reason, which I think they're just used to me liking everything, so when I hate something, it's funny and it's different. But yeah, anyways, all right. I'm going to go watch the last episode of Black Mirror. Adios.